Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Taylor Seminars for a bonus episode where, yes, we talk about how Taylor Swift turns life into poetry, but we also talk about how she's insanely good at songwriting. Hi, Exquisite.
Hi. Yeah, just an emergency session.
Yeah, so I was walking down the street, like the day after we recorded the loml podcast, and I was listening to Midnights because she was sounding super fresh, and I was like, let's listen to these 3 a.m. tracks, and I'm listening to the song. What song was I listening to, Exquisite?
Glitch.
And I was just like texting. It's just like, oh, like this is like a funny like little like, oh, this line is like reminding me of LOML. This, and then we just kept going.
I know. Oh my God. Because here's the thing. She really was like, oh, this was a glitch in my matrix of how I usually do things. And listening to Midnights with hindsight is crazy.
Crazy.
Everything is crazy. Do you wanna start with what initially got you like, whoa?
Yeah. So it was listening to the song. No. First, I was just live texting my listen to the album. Like I was like, high infidelity is also a warning, right? Um,
Hmm?
and then it goes to glitch, and then I was like, we should have known when she called her relationship with Joe a glitch that something was changing. And then I did in quotes, it must be counterfeit.
Yep.
And then we were like, counterfeit. So exquisite text, and it something counterfeit is dead.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
So and then guys, it kept going. We're not gonna spoil it.
We just kind of like to like preview kind of it's a rekindled flame song.
Explain that.
Like, okay, so to me, like if I were to like make playlists, because I am want to make a playlist, um if I were to make playlists that I'm like, well, these are rekindled flames, something about Glitch reads, she was originally going to leave. Like it's in her nature to bolt. She is the bolter, she's told us. But there was a glitch in her system, and so she stayed. And this is part of the reason why, which is the song.
Guys, strap in. Okay, let me read. So we went through LOML in the main podcast. So we're gonna walk through glitch, and then through the lens of LOML. So or loml as I called it. Okay. We were supposed to be just friends. You don't live in my part of town, but maybe I'll see you out some weekend, depending on what kind of mood and situationship I'm in and what's in my system. I'll keep going. I think there's been a glitch. 5 seconds later, I'm fastening myself to you with a stitch. And I'm not even sorry. Nights are so starry, blood moonlit. It must be counterfeit. I think there's been a glitch. And then Sexy Sounds by Taylor.
Yeah. I first of all, I love this song, and a lot of people, it's underrated, and that's why a lot of people just didn't make this connection. I think they're not listening to Glitch. They're not listening to what's being said. Um, but isn't it interesting that she says she's fastening herself, like she's doing the work here to connect them, right? With the stitch. And what else has stitches, Hannah?
We embroidered the memories of the time I was away. So embroidery obviously uses stitches, tiny stitches from a needle to
Yeah.
convey. Um,
Undone or whatever as well, but like
yeah.
whatever.
And then here we go. This line made me want to. I literally texted it because I want to jump when we said, "Nights are so starry." I thought it was better safe than starry eyed. We talked about you talked about starry eye sparking up my darkest night. Like this was another starry.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Her nights are so starry with him.
Yeah.
Blood moons can be a good thing or a bad sign, but for her, it's almost like she was ignoring that warning, because a blood moon is a warning, but she's like, oh, but there's a glitch, so
But also, I think like this is what I think can happen in writing songs or writing poetry or art, where you have signs that in hindsight, you were like, oh, I didn't see that connection truly understand it till later. I think that's a little bit of hoax too, I think, for her. And I think the blood moonlit now, when read it, it reminds me of like red, maroon, right? Like you said, like a warning sign. Like,
Yep.
oh, like
Like, oh, this red flag, it's a literal red flag and as big as the moon. It's a huge red
it's
flag.
it's this in the
And
sky.
she's like, but look at the stars around it.
Oh.
Like the nights are so starry, I can ignore the red flag.
And then again, the line that started all, it must be counterfeit. Um, and then that was the when you're wait, what was it? Yeah, once that are they secondhand embarrassed that I can't get out of bed because something's counterfeit is dead.
Yeah. And so she's like known it was counterfeit.
Or like
Or she was like
she's
assumed it could have
yeah,
been.
she suspected it. It like it must be counterfeit, but maybe because of the mood and the situationship he's in with what's going on in her system, she ignored it. She's like, must have been a glitch.
Yeah. And then wait, the next verse where it's like, I was supposed to sweat you out in search of glorious happenings of happenstance on someone else's playground, but it's been 2,190 days of our love blackout. The system's breaking down. There's a lot going on here because she literally opens up with like, we were just supposed to be having sex.
Well, yes.
um yeah, but and then she brings in the in search of glorious happenings of happenstance on someone else's playground is working doubly for me because it's like, one, we were just kids, babe, and
Ooh.
two, Mr. Steal Your Girl.
Yeah, because they were not supposed to be playing there, or like she, right? Like this was like supposed to be, high infidelity getaway car, right?
Yeah, yeah.
But
Yeah, and you had an interesting thought about the specific number because low key you mentioned glitch when we did the main LOML video.
yeah, yeah. So in the main episode, I think I said she's so specific usually with her numbers. Like, don't you think 19 is too young? 25 years old. And in Glitch, she did 2,190 days. But in LOML, she says about a million times. Like she goes so vague, and I think so. Yeah. So we had a telepathic moment
Yeah.
recording the episode, but we fully realize now, like, when you're in love and when you're like so enamored by the signs and what you think are the winds of fate, you're like counting the days. But once you're out of it and you have a clear head that's throbbing because of the headache and the pain, you are just like, oh my gosh, it was just love bombing. It was just
I fear.
the fear. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Ugh.
But and I also think the specific number, she's like, it's been this long since we've been together, right? Um, and the system's breaking down, and that's her. She's like, oh, he's breaking down my systems of being to run away. Like I'm not gonna bolt. Because that's what the glitch is. The glitch is that she's staying for
Yeah.
once.
Yeah. Oh,
Uh,
uh,
yeah.
before we go to the next part, for the chorus, we talked earlier about fastening myself to you with a stitch. Oh, so let's focus also on the 5 seconds later. Like that's
Yep.
very quick, and to me that reminds me a lot of, um, if you know it in one glimpse, it's legendary.
Yep.
You and I go
Yep.
from one kiss to getting married. Like 5 seconds later, like hard cut,
Yeah.
alter.
Yeah. The system's breaking down. Like you squeeze my hand as I'm about to leave. That's her typical thing is like, I'm just gonna get out of here before I get hurt. You gotta leave before you get left. As
Yeah.
well. But this person knows how to like get her to come back. Either they run after her, they squeeze her hand as they're about to leave, and she's like, okay, I'm since the system is broken down, I'm gonna just fasten my like stitch us as closely together as possible.
Yep. Love it.
Yeah.
You can read that little bridge.
A brief interruption, a slight malfunction. I'd go back to wanting dudes who give nothing. I thought we had no chance, and that's romance. Let's dance.
I know that last line. We're gonna get there, but I think the first part, the brief interruption, this life malfunction. I think this is a good time to talk about how, yeah, like the way she talks about this relationship, and I think gives credence to your idea that this is a rekindled flame song, is like this is not how she normally described this beautiful relationship, or this long-term relationship that she had with her this muse. I think before it was like snow on the beach, a rare as a comet in the sky. Um,
Yep.
but this one is like it was a glitch. Like it was like uh, I don't know. I feel like the computer metaphor is not quite as sexy, not quite
Mm,
as magical, right? Because this is just some kind of mess up.
yeah. And it's the song is a very sexy song, by the way. Like it's framed as very sexy to me, at least. Because she's like, it was a hookup and then it was love,
Yeah,
right? Um, which is such an interesting, and I think like the only other time she's like, and she's kind of told us this before, but again, the way it was framed before was that like this coincidence was fated. It was always going to be fated, even though I did all the planning for it, remastermind. Um, but in Cruel Summer, she was like, yeah, we were sneaking around until we weren't, and then knew he was a killer. Like all of it, it's some cat and mouse for a month or two or three, right? Where it's like, but this, I think this is a song that states it almost the most plainly that it was supposed to just be hooking up, and then he locked her down.
yeah.
Uh,
We were supposed to be just friends, like friends with benefits.
I was supposed to sweat you out.
Yeah, go back to wanting dudes who give nothing. We had no chance. That's
Yep.
romance. And then Let's Dance. What does that remind you of, Exquisite?
We're gonna go waltzing back into rekindled flame. Like,
Literally.
if we can't do anything, we're gonna touch and we're gonna dance and we're gonna waltz, even if it's a false god.
No, it's crazy. Like when we made that Let's Dance connection, I think I screamed internally during my walk because I did not want to scare the other people, and I was walking around like a school. Um, but like, and it isn't it romantic, right? To
Mm-hmm.
waltz into rekindled flames, right? Isn't that the most romantic thing, right? To feel like, we're back and we're going to be fine and we're going to fix it. Maybe even this fight that we had, maybe that's the glitch, right?
Yep.
We're going to make it through because this bigger glitch that brought us together
Yep.
is going to fix
Yes.
everything.
Exactly. Exactly. And she's like, I'm not even sorry about it. I'm not even sorry
Yeah.
because the nights are so beautiful despite the giant red flag in the sky.
You mean the blood-lit moon made her
Yeah.
feel so aglow?
Stop, Hannah. But yes, kind of. Even though it's like you look back and you're like, damn, that was bloody.
Yeah. Yeah. So again, we want to be sure. We're not saying that Taylor wrote this knowing that LOML was going to happen or that Blood Moonlit meant she knew something, there was a red flag. But looking back in
Hind-
hindsight,
Hindsight is 2020 because oh my goodness, that's romance. Let's dance. And I think it's really interesting because this is one of the bonus tracks and it's along with like the Great War and in Paris and like all these songs that kind of like show a lot about the internal dynamics of a relationship that's kind of falling apart. Um, and that she doesn't want to, and that she is fastening them together. She's like, she is pulling him in tighter each time that he drifts away.
mm,
Like, come back, come closer to me. Um, yeah, and glitch is just so underrated. But again, Midnight kind of as an album is underrated. I know it won album of the year, but it was underrated.
So we usually mention it at the top, but we forgot. It is written by Jack Antonoff, Taylor Swift, Soundwave, and Sam Dew. Oh, I thought I didn't. Okay, I didn't know that. It's produced by Soundwave, Jack Antonoff, and Taylor Swift. So I'm guessing
Yep.
it was like a beat or something
Yeah.
that she got from them, and then she was like, "This is a sexy beat, and I'm gonna write to it." And then, yeah,
Yeah. It is kind of funny. You know how we talk about Taylor's like fatalism? It's all over this too. Like it must be counterfeit, so it's like fake, it's not gonna last, and the system's breaking down or whatever.
yeah,
Like, ooh, the fatalistic. She's got it. But again, she's got this backwards idea of romance where it's kind of like, because it's so messy, that's love. Like hoax. Your faithless love's the only hoax I believe in.
yeah. Yeah. And not to say that a hookup can't become a good relationship, right? Not
Yeah.
to say that, if that's your love story, like
That's
amazing,
not what
happy for you.
we're not saying it's bad.
Yeah. But we're saying that in this
Hindsight.
song, for this context, circumstance, looking back, we can see
Yeah,
why.
looking back,
And again,
why?
to clarify, LOML we think is very blended. This is our I guess shoring up the argument that it's very clearly blended, like,
But
yeah, I think the LOML for the shorter muse is very obvious,
yeah,
but then the longer muse is less obvious, and we're hoping that this kind of helps you to be like, oh, like she was digging up through midnights the whole time, and she's able to pick and choose these metaphors and word choices, and maybe not you don't agree with all of them, but we're hoping the overwhelming preponderance of evidence.
I again, and this is, I think she did it for reasons, maybe a lot that I won't get into the podcast, but the idea of mixing the muse as well as like, and I completely understand how it would happen because all over midnight she's like pondering and landscaping past relationships onto her current one so she could help her figure out what's going on and if things are like she was pattern seeking in her own life all throughout midnights. And so it makes sense to me that in the dissolution of her relationship and then the utter like mess that it immediately followed, she was like, well, what happened here? And why was it kind of the same thing?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I do think that her doing all this excavation during midnights actually made the process of recovery both more painful because she's like, why didn't I see the signs? But also quicker in a way because she kind of had unearthed all of,
She had already broke all them bones,
yeah,
so
all of her demons, all of her, flaws, fears,
yeah.
tendencies.
And one of my things I think we're gonna get on TS12, which is like not to be the crowd begging for more. I'm not. Taylor's always writing. Is I think we're going to get, as much as we're going to get a lot of love, I think we're also going to get a lot of anger in the
Yeah,
post.
yeah, I think so. I mean, part of growth and moving on is to show anger.
Yeah, I think we're going to get a lot of, wow, it was that easy.
Yeah, yeah,
And that would piss me off if I found out that everything that caused me so much pain never had to happen in the first place.
yeah, yeah.
I'm excited. Not that obviously we're going to be forever talking about TTPD, but
Yes, yes, and yeah. So we hope that this helps you to um, enjoy revisiting past albums. That that these songs are manuscripts that are given to us now.
yeah,
Um,
exactly. Exactly. I think it's really fun, and I was explaining this to Hannah, and we'll probably get more into this when we've done all the Torture Poet Department song. But TTBD feels like an end of an era, but not like she's gonna retire or she's even gonna take a super long break, but more like if I were to mark her music by eras, you got the first five albums, and then you have this next half that happens like from Reputation on, and it stops here.
Mm. No, I like that a lot. I think, yeah, we have from Taylor Swift self-titled to like Red. Then we have
Mm.
1989 to TTPD with our little like asterisk folklore evermore during the pandemic.
Even though, like, I wouldn't even asterisk them, I would I I think you don't get you don't get Midnights without Folklore and Evermore. Even though a lot of people are like, "Oh my God, Midnights is a step back." They're losers. I mean, they're lame. I mean, they don't understand. Um, but you don't get Midnights without her processing things through Folklore and Evermore without even realizing she was processing.
Yeah. Okay. So you're more talking about like the evolution of her talking about herself.
Yeah, yeah. I think there's I could write an essay about. In fact, I probably will write an essay about it. Um, when I'm able to like properly form my words. But there is something to be said about because something about like from her debut to 1989, like not talking about like genre shifting, but there was like this formed version of Taylor that it is very distinct, but is also not entirely changed, right? And then from Reputation to now, you could see her brain growing and changing.
I see. I see. Okay. So that's why you're putting Reputation on
Yeah,
versus
yeah.
1989. I
Reputation
lo-
and
Okay,
yeah,
I get it. TS5. Okay, okay, I like it. I like it. Okay, well we'll talk more. You guys know that we can't stop yapping.
yeah.
But we hope you enjoyed this short little bonus episode, and we will be back. What did you say?
I said this little glitch.
Oh yeah, this little glitch.
It's just a glitch. We hit thoughts.
Yeah. And we'll be back with I Can Do It with a Broken Heart very soon. Thanks, guys.
Okay, thanks. Bye.